The remains of the Soweto e-hailing driver Mthokozisi Mvelase will be transported to KwaZulu-Natal today. He was shot and burned outside Maponya Mall in what's believed to have been a turf war between e-hailing drivers and taxi operators. The 27-year-old will be buried in his hometown of Ulundi tomorrow, and taxi union Santaco is covering funeral costs, or taxi body Santaco will be covering those costs. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is live for us from Maponya Mall. This is where the family is planning to perform rituals at the crime scene. Good morning, Veronica. And again, it's such a sad moment in this milestone of tragedy for the family. They've been waiting for those remains. Finally, they do have it. The funeral, or his laying to rest ceremony, will get underway. But this is where they start in adherence with cultural ritual and tradition. Just talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Iman, you'd remember just 3 weeks ago, really, an attack that brought into sharp focus the crisis, the violence, the brutality that has been happening in the transport sector. This is between e-hailing drivers and the taxi associations, where you'd remember that evening, a Wednesday night, when Mthokozisi Mvelase parked his car just here behind me, just to pick up a commuter, and there he met a violent demise where he died in a hail of bullets, and his car set alight with his body still inside. It sparked, of course, those protests in the community that spoke about the issues in regards to e-hailing drivers, to taxis, but also safety in the broader Soweto community. But for the family, it has been quite a traumatic 3 weeks for them, as they had to wait for his remains as well, and also, of course, waiting for those investigations to get underway. And the conversation, we know that what will be happening today with the families, that they will be taking a convoy from the funeral parlor, as you've mentioned, a funeral service that has been sponsored essentially by Santaco, who apologized to the family, who apologized to South Africans for the violence. And from the funeral parlor, there will be a convoy that will then come here to Maponya Mall at that very specific spot where young Mthokozisi passed away. There will be a prayer service that will be held. Certain traditional rites will be taking place. And this is obviously to give the family that comfort and that closure, making sure that as they take his body back to KwaZulu-Natal, his spirit will be in peace. I did get an opportunity to speak to the aunt this morning, just to get a perspective of how they are feeling this morning as they prepare really for what has been a long time wanting to have this chapter behind them closed. And she's really explained that they are quite emotional but grateful that they will be able to do this. And after being here at Maponya Mall, Iman, we will then head to the Nansfield hostel, where 24-year-old Mthokozisi lived amongst the community there. So really just an emotional day expected to take place here, but finally that chapter being closed for this family. But of course, in the backdrop of this, we still continue to wait and to hear how investigations are underway, whether or not there's a suspect or even any arrest that has happened. And so far, police have remained mum on the situation. And so can you imagine, for a family, their focus today and for this weekend will be laying their loved one to rest. But the reality is there still needs to be some sort of accountability in regards to the brutal violence that took place here just last month.